Cats don't have a word for "I love you." They never will. No amount of training, no number of years together will ever give a cat the ability to sit you down and explain how she feels. And yet most of us know, with total certainty, when our cat adores us. We feel it. We just can't always point to the exact moment we learned it. That's because cats speak in an entirely different language than we do, one built out of trust, scent, routine, and small physical choices most people walk past every day without a second thought. Where humans use words, cats use proximity. Where we say "I trust you," they simply stop watching the door. Today we're translating 5 of the deepest compliments a cat can give a person. Some of these are backed by genuine attachment research, studies with control groups, measured behaviors, published findings. Others are patterns that behaviorists and longtime cat owners recognize consistently, even without a formal study attached to them. I'll be upfront about which is which as we go, because I'd rather you trust this video than be impressed by it. Let's start with the one that happens almost every single day, hiding in plain sight. Compliment 1. Greeting you at the door. Picture it. Keys in the lock, bags on your shoulder, mind still half at work. And there she is, sitting a few feet from the entrance, tail up, waiting. Most people smile at this and move on with their evening. But it's worth pausing here because this moment is stranger than it looks. Cats are not pack animals the way dogs are. In the wild, there was no leader to greet, no returning figure whose arrival mattered to the group. Wild cats are largely solitary, and their ancestors simply never developed a greeting ritual because there was no one to greet. So when a domestic cat chooses to abandon a warm nap or a sunny windowsill the instant she hears your specific key in the lock, that's not instinct. It's a learned association, built slowly, between the sound of you and the feeling of safety returning to the house. Some researchers who study cat-human attachment describe this as resembling secure base behavior, a concept originally used to describe how young children and dogs treat a trusted caregiver as a stable point in an otherwise unpredictable world. Your return re-establishes that stability for her nervous system, even if she was perfectly fine on her own the whole time you were gone. There's a story that circulates often among rescue volunteers. A cat named Biscuit came into a shelter after being found alone outside for weeks, thin, flinching at raised hands, unwilling to be touched. For her first month in her new home, she wouldn't come anywhere near the door when her owner arrived. She'd stay hidden under the bed until the house went completely quiet again. Then, 4 months in, her owner came home to find 2 green eyes peeking around the corner of the hallway. Not close, not touching, just present, watching the door. 2 weeks after that, she was sitting in the hallway itself. By month 6, she was waiting directly by the door every single afternoon, same time, without fail. That's not a cat becoming tame. That's a cat rebuilding, piece by piece, her belief that a human coming through a door is not a threat but a homecoming. If your cat does this for you, you are not imagining the significance of it. You are, quite literally, someone's safe sound in an unpredictable world. Compliment 2. The belly. If you've ever had a cat roll onto her back in front of you and simply stay there, soft-eyed, relaxed, unbothered, you've witnessed one of the most biologically loaded gestures a cat is capable of offering. Here's why it carries so much weight. A cat's belly is her single most defenseless area. There's no thick muscle protecting it, no bone plating running across it the way a ribcage protects the chest. In the wild, exposing that area is close to an open invitation to injury. Feral and outdoor cats almost never expose their bellies to anything they consider even a mild threat. And even among cats who trust each other deeply, belly exposure is reserved for a very small circle, often just a parent, a sibling, or a long-term companion. So when a cat rolls over in front of a human and stays there, fully open, she's communicating something close to, "There is nothing in this room that I believe can hurt me right now." This isn't submission the way it might read in a dog. It's closer to a declaration of safety. Interestingly, many veterinary behaviorists actually caution owners against treating this as an invitation to touch the belly. For a lot of cats, the exposure itself is the entire message, and a hand reaching in can startle away the very trust that made the moment possible in the first place. The gesture is the gift. It doesn't need to be accepted with a touch in order to count. Think about a shy rescue kitten who spent her first weeks curled defensively in the back corner of a carrier, tucked into the smallest shape she could make herself, flinching at every sound outside the cage door. For a kitten like that, Unfamiliar hands and open rooms have only ever meant potential danger. So the first time she stretches out fully on her back on the living room rug, even for 3 or 4 seconds before flipping back over, that's a milestone as significant, in feline terms, as a first step is for a human toddler. It means the part of her brain constantly scanning for danger has for one brief moment gone completely quiet. Compliment 3. Sleeping with her back turned toward you. This one tends to surprise people, because on the surface it can almost look like the opposite of affection. Your cat curls up nearby, but instead of facing you, she turns away, back toward you, face toward the open room. It looks like distance. It's actually one of the deepest forms of closeness a cat can offer. In the animal kingdom, sleep is the single most vulnerable state a creature can enter. No awareness, no active defenses, no ability to react to danger in real time. Wild and feral cats are extremely deliberate about where and how they sleep, often choosing small, enclosed, hidden spots, specifically because unconsciousness is so dangerous out in the open. A cat who sleeps in an open room, with her back to another living being, is making a very specific bet. If anything threatens me while I'm unconscious, the creature behind me will notice before I do. She is, in effect, assigning you the night watch. There's a particularly moving version of this that shows up again and again in senior cat rescue circles. An older cat, adopted well past the age most people consider adoptable, who spends her first several nights in a new home sleeping in the farthest corner, facing the door, watching. And then, one night, for no obvious external reason, that same cat curls up on the end of the bed with her back to her new owner and simply stays there until morning. Owners who've lived through this often describe it as one of the most emotional moments of the entire adoption process. Not because the cat did anything dramatic, but because after years of having to sleep on guard just to survive, she finally decided she didn't have to anymore. And she decided it in this house, near this person, with her back turned in complete trust. Compliment 4. The gifts. This is the one that tends to get owners laughing before it gets them emotional. Because let's be honest, finding a dead mouse or a slightly damp toy mouse on your pillow at 6 in the morning is not most people's idea of romance. But strip away the mess for a second and look at what's actually happening underneath it. Hunting is, evolutionarily, one of the most important survival behaviors a cat possesses, and oddly enough, one of the more social ones. In feral cat colonies, mother cats bring prey back to their kittens as part of teaching them to hunt, gradually introducing live or partially subdued prey so the kittens can practice the skill for themselves. It's an act of provision and instruction rolled into one behavior. Domestic cats, even well-fed indoor cats who have never once needed to hunt for survival, still carry this instinct fully intact. The drive doesn't disappear just because there's a food bowl waiting in the kitchen. So when your cat, who has never gone hungry in her life, marches through the house with a toy mouse in her mouth, chirping around it, and deposits it directly at your feet, she's running an ancient program that in the wild exists to feed and provision the individuals she considers part of her family unit. Whether it's a real catch from outside or a beloved toy she's decided to hunt and deliver, the underlying instinct is identical. This is for you. It's also worth pointing out that this behavior tends to be selective, not random. Cats disproportionately direct it toward whoever they're most bonded to in a household, not evenly across every person in the home. If your cat brings gifts specifically to you and skips everyone else, that's not a coincidence. You've been sorted by an animal under no obligation to share anything into the category of someone worth feeding. One rescue story captures this particularly well. A formerly feral tomcat, half wild well into adulthood, took nearly 2 years to allow any physical touch at all from the woman who fed him daily outside her home. The turning point wasn't a cuddle or a purr. It was the morning she opened her back door to find a dead vole placed neatly on the mat, the first gift he had ever brought a human in his life. It would be several more months before he let her touch his head, but that vole, unglamorous as it was, marked the exact moment he stopped seeing her as a food source and started seeing her as his person. Compliment 5. Running to you when scared. Loud noises, a knock at the door, a thunderstorm rolling in. In these moments, most cats scatter under beds, into closets, behind furniture, anywhere the world can't reach them. But some cats do something different. In the middle of the fear, they run toward a person instead of away from every living thing in the house. This is one of the few items on this list with a genuine study behind it. Researchers modeled a version of the secure base test, originally developed for human infants, later adapted for dogs, for cats. In it, cats were placed in an unfamiliar space with their owner present, then briefly separated. Many cats, once reunited with their owner after the stressful separation, actively sought proximity and comfort from that specific person, rather than simply calming down on their own once the stressor passed. In plain terms, for a cat with a secure attachment to a particular human, that human's presence functions less like a nice-to-have and more like an actual regulator of fear, something closer to a biological anchor than a preference. So when your cat, mid-thunderstorm, chooses to run to your lap instead of vanishing into the basement, her nervous system has identified you, specifically you, not just a quiet room or a hiding spot, as the single safest variable available to her in a moment of real distress. I want to be careful here, because this is where it's easy to overclaim. Whether cats consciously understand human sadness or grief the way another person might is genuinely still debated among researchers, and I don't want to pretend that question is settled when it isn't. What is well documented, though, is that cats reliably increase their proximity seeking toward attachment figures during and after stressful events. Whatever is happening internally, the behavior itself is consistent and measurable, and countless owners have felt the weight of a cat who simply refused to leave their side during the hardest weeks of their life. Cats will never sit us down and tell us how they feel. There's no note left on the counter, no words whispered before sleep. For a long time, that silence can make it easy to wonder whether they feel much at all. But they've been telling us the entire time. In the doorway they wait beside, the belly they expose without flinching, the back they turn toward us while they sleep, the small unwanted gifts left at our feet, and the choice, when the world gets loud and frightening, to run toward us instead of away. Cats don't love the way people do. They don't say it, and they don't need to hear it said back. Instead, they show it through trust, through safety, through the quiet decision to stay close when they didn't have to. So tell me, which of these 5 did your cat give you first? Was it the doorway greeting, the exposed belly, the back turned toward you in sleep, an unglamorous gift on your pillow, or the moment they ran to you instead of hiding? Share the story in the comments. Other cat owners reading this will want to hear it, and honestly, so do I. If this helped you see your own cat a little differently today, hit like and subscribe for more grounded, honestly sourced videos about the animals quietly loving us in their own language. God bless you.